everybody to the Mississaugua Method. I am here today without Coach Adrian, but I am joined by a very capable substitute, Phil Jenner. Phil is an exercise physiologist and a strength and conditioning coach to golfers and other athletes alike. Welcome, Phil.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, pretty excited to be here.
Awesome. So we're going to chat with Phil today about what he does for a living, some of the things you do in the golf world. Maybe we'll spill that over into some other things. But yeah, I'm really excited to pick your brain just about kind of your expertise and how we can help our membership here at Mississaugua maybe just get a little more fit and a little bit more ready to play golf, I guess.
Yeah.
So I thought we could just start. You could maybe tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and kind of how you came to be where you're at today.
Cool. Yeah. So I was fortunate to grow up in a community that was very sport focused. So I got to play everything across the board. And then it's a farming and steel community. So I did a lot of labor jobs growing up as well. And wanted to do more with sports. So went to school for kinesiology. And then kind of continued some education afterwards, and then slowly filtered into doing more and more with golf. It was the one sport that I wanted to play for forever. Mm-hmm. And so selfishly, it was maybe to try to get a little bit better myself too. But yeah, continued on learning with like the Titleist Performance Institute courses, going down the road of getting better and learning more on all things golf related. But especially in my world, the exercise physiology and strength training. And so,
Nice. So how long have you been working in the field then?
So I've been at the place that I'm at now for about 5 years. So call it kind of maybe 7 since I kind of started doing more stuff with golf.
Okay. Nice. And so a client comes into the clinic. What does a typical first visit look like? How do you? Is there an assessment that takes place, or maybe just talk us through how that all happens?
Yeah. It's so a lot of it at first is it's a conversation. So it's really trying to understand where that person's at. Relative to their golf, relative to their general health, their goals, things like that, injury history. So a lot of it's big intake. Mm-hmm. And then we kind of go through some basic movement screens and then some more specific kind of orthopedic testing if needed, and then go down the general kind of health metrics that we'll kind of grab testing wise, whether it's kind of doing, things getting body composition measures or hand grip strength, or doing little balance tests, power tests, strength tests. And so we'll kind of do, a whole gambit of kind of testing to get some data. And then we'll gather some data on the golf side of things. And so, we've got fortunate to be at the place that I'm at where we've got access to, we've got force plates, we've got 3D motion, we've got kind of the GC quad. So we'll gather a bunch of data on everything golf related that we can get. Mm-hmm. And then we really just pair that back up with what we're finding kind of on the other tests. Where's that person at kind of, with how they move, their strength, their speed, their power, their general health markers. And then from there, we kind of, try to figure out how to get them to their goals as quickly as we can, kind of finding kind of these small percent gains.
Right. Yeah. And I think that's collecting all that data initially. Not everybody does that, right? And I think it's huge so that you can look back and say, this is where you were, this is where you are, this is where we're going, right? For me as an athlete, I would love that level of meticulousness, I guess, right? Because a lot of times you go into a place and they'll just be like, okay, what's hurting? And then we'll work on that. And then that's it, right? And then you go out the door again. But it sounds like you guys are more, obviously way more in depth than that, right?
Yeah. And it really helps us narrow things down as well, too, because it's fun sometimes. We'll go through the whole gamut and then we'll find out that, someone doesn't rotate well through their hip, or they have really bad balance. And so, depending on their level of commitment to, how much time they have to allocate to exercise, to training, to practice, to work, to things like that, sometimes it comes down to we can only give them a few things to do. And so I'd rather know that look, all you have to do is work on your balance or right. Carrying stuff, hand grip strength. And it's funny because sometimes people look at us after all that and they'll be that's it? You just want me to work on my single leg balance? And it's well, I can make it harder if you'd like, but it's, if we can just kind of, find these things that are going to make the biggest impact to, get the person to their goals the quickest.
Yeah. And that's, for me, that's a lot like golf coaching, right? Like, I can give you 10 things to work on. Are you going to do them?
Yeah.
Probably not, right? I can give you this one thing that's going to help, 80% of your issues, right? Versus like making it overcomplicated and adding too much. So it sounds like a very similar approach that I would take with my coaching.
That's the thing. Yeah, the two worlds kind of they combine kind of quite a bit, right?
Yeah. That's cool. Nice. So you work with Dr. Jason Lemieux pretty closely. Can you maybe just tell me a bit about that working relationship? He's a chiropractor by trade, right?
Yes.
Also a golf junkie.
Yes. Yeah. To say the least, he's got a really cool story. So he went over to school in the States, studying chiro and physio over in Chicago, and started doing the courses with Dr. Greg Rose before it was even Titleist Performance Institute, right? And so I give him a hard time about it because he was technically grandfathered in to being TPI certified. And so, I don't think there's anyone in the industry who's been doing it longer. He is just a golf junkie in terms of every stat on every kind of little detail of the game. He can regurgitate it, and he's passionate about it. So it's fun working there. There's a lot of crossover, but he's obviously got his own skill set, on top of everything else that he does. And so we get to work together in terms of picking each other's brains, as well as, if someone needs some more orthopedic kind of stuff, he's right there to kind of test and measure and treat if kind of needed. And we kind of get to bounce off a lot of things off each other. So
I mean, I know even for myself, last time I went to see him, he kind of gave me a little adjustment, got me sorted, and then sent me right over to you, and we did some work as well. So like, again, it seems very team oriented. We always talk about that in like TPI stuff, or like the golf coach, the medical professional, the strength and conditioning coach. Everybody's kind of in the loop and knows what's going on and pulling the rope in the same direction, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, especially with the golf coach, right? Like, especially if like you're trying to see something with a student, like it only takes a couple seconds to like add something else to their program to help them move a little bit more laterally, if that's what the coach is kind of looking for, or if the coach is trying to get someone to do something and they can't seem to be kind of getting there. It's very easy to be like, oh, why don't we kind of fix this shoulder thing up, and then send them back, and it works really, really well together.
Yeah, nice. I think you guys get that, and not everybody does, so that's cool. Okay, I have more questions. So one of your students, I don't know what we'd call them, one of your clients would be an LPGA Tour player, Savannah Grewal. So I wanted to pick your brain about what it's like working with her. Is it basically the same as any other client, just on a kind of a different skill set level, or is it kind of a whole different ballgame working with someone like that?
Yeah, so like relative to like the exercises and the training and the things like that, like we always joke that we're not doing anything special in terms of it's a lot of fundamentals, it's a lot of technique, kind of injury prevention, it's a lot of the what some people kind of describe as like the boring things, but those are some of the most important things. And Savannah's almost easy to work with because she shows up to work every day, kind of thing, and she does all that stuff.
She does the things you describe. Yeah.
Exactly. And some of the stuff, it's not the most fun exercise or cool exercise or things like that, but they're the ones that really matter. And she puts in the work, and that always makes our job kind of easy in terms of we just kind of assess, adjust, and then she's going to be the one putting in the work, right? Yeah. And she's been, I think, working with Jason. She was around 12 years old, and so she has done the fundamentals for a very long time, and it shows. She smashes the ball, she moves well, all of those things.
No injuries thus far.
Of course, touch wood.
Yeah, sorry, I shouldn't have said that out loud. Okay, so I think now would be a good time. Savannah's actually here. Surprise, surprise, secret guest. So we're going to bring her in and kind of chat with the three of us. All right, so we are joined now by Savannah Grewal. Thank you for joining us. Savannah is a second-year LPGA Tour player, and she's working with Phil and Jason over at Physiomed.
So I met Jason at my home course, Piper's East, and it was so random. Like, literally he was on the tee teeing off, asked me if I wanted to join, and I played with him. And my dad and him were chatting away, and he was like, "Oh, like, what do you do?" And he's like, "Oh, like, I have a clinic, physio med." And my dad was like, "Oh, really?" And Jason was like, "Yeah, like, I'm TPI certified." And my dad was wanting to get me to do more golf specific training. And we were driving, I think, all the way to Vaughan at that time. And so to have someone that was closer was really nice. And so I started with Jason when I was 12 and have been working with him ever since. We did just a lot of movement stuff, making sure that my body was moving in the right way so that I wasn't going to get injured, especially because I was so young. We didn't want to run into any issues down the road. So I think just making sure certain muscles in my back were strong, and in my hips, that I was using my hips in a way that wasn't going to create issues in my back down the road.
So it was all preventative? Like there was nothing, no injuries specifically in the beginning that made you go to him?
No,
Interesting.
never had any issues. I'd broken my wrist when I was like 7 or something, but some kid had pushed me on the playground, so that was like not golf related at all. But yeah, it was no like injuries or anything. It was all just preventative, and then me wanting to get stronger and also get some speed and hit the ball further.
Right. Yeah. That's really like, I am shout out to your dad here because that's like a lot of foresight, right? At that age to be thinking about your future like 5-10 years down the road, like that's pretty smart. Because most dads are like, let's get coaching and let's like just get good at golf. But not a lot of people are having the foresight to say, hey, let's build the body right too, right? So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I think my dad had really taken a lot of inspiration from Tiger's dad and how he had such a holistic view on golf in the sense of like no one was really working out before Tiger Woods. Like he was like the first person to start doing that. And so to my dad, like it was really important that I was also making sure that I'm taking care of my body because as an athlete, your body's your life. If your body's not working, your game's not working, you can't do anything. And so that was a really big piece of it. And obviously like wanting to get faster, like I think distance never hurts. And so that was a big component too, that I wanted to gain some distance, hit it further. And I felt like by the time I got to high school, I was probably hitting it one of the furthest amongst the junior golfers at that age. And so I definitely think that doing all that strength training or at a young age really helped with that.
Right. Cool. And then where does Phil come into the picture? What point in your life did you meet him?
I think it was during
5 years now. Yeah, it's been about 5 years.
During what, sir?
COVID.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think I remember I wasn't even supposed to be home, I'm pretty sure. We had just been sent home. I was at university and everything had gotten canceled. And I remember coming back to the clinic and Jason introducing me to Phil, and then started working with Phil a lot. But yeah, it was during COVID, which was just a crazy time. I wasn't even supposed to be home, which was also like kind of just random and coincidence that everything kind of worked out. And yeah, it's been great working with Phil. I feel like we feed off of each other's energies in a way. He's always super enthusiastic and ready to go and is willing to help me however I need. Like I know like if I'm on the road or anything, I can always just text Phil and be like, hey, like this is kind of bothering me today, or I feel like I want to work on this or whatever it is. And he's always like willing to help out and create like a little exercise page of what I should be doing or what muscles to engage.
Nice. So there's a lot of kind of virtual work you guys put in together?
Yeah, I'm because I live in South Carolina during the winter months, so I'm not really here much, and so yeah, it's pretty much we would hop on a phone call, I think, like every Monday.
Yep.
Just talk about the week and be like, hey, like this is how I felt this week, this is how I was hitting it, like I'm slept a lot or I didn't get a lot of sleep or whatever it is, like where I'm feeling with my body, and then from there we kind of create a plan, and well, mainly Phil creates the plan. Phil creates a plan on what I'm gonna do for that week.
Okay. What about like so off season versus on season? Is it more or less time working together, or do you guys kind of just shift what you do?
I think it's more shifting of what we do, right?
A little bit, yeah. Your off season's so short, right? And so the schedule only allows us to do so much. You know, when we have like a couple weeks at most, right? And so. A lot of it is ongoing stuff that we kind of jump in and out of with certain things, but for the most part it is again it's much of the same that fundamentals, you make sure you're moving well, injury prevention, and then with a dash of the speed and the power and the strength and all that stuff in there too.
Is there any like lifting that like do you do any power lifting type stuff or?
Oh yeah, lots of strength trainings in there. Every program almost has a little bit of everything in it, or making sure things are moving well, or doing stuff for the neuro system, for balance, sorry, a little bit for speed, and then there's going to be some strength stuff, and then making sure there's a lot of recovery stuff in there too, right? Your recovery work is just as important as everything else.
Yeah. And okay, last question. Food. Talk to me about like. I know you guys talk about this a lot, so I wanted to ask, like, what's the program like for eating, say during a tournament week? Like, do you have a specific calorie intake you're looking to hit, or how do you work it?
I wouldn't say I have like a certain calorie intake. I've just never done well with, I guess, thinking of food as numbers. Like, I'm a big foodie, so I just enjoy eating, and so I think if I saw how many calories I ate, I probably wouldn't be a good thing because I probably consumed too many. Well, debatable, but I would say I really try to carb up the night before. Obviously, making sure I'm having enough protein and carbs in a balanced meal, but also making sure that I get enough carbs because I think it is easy to just go the salad route or just veggies as carbs instead of like having something like pasta or rice that's going to be a little more carb dense.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm really conscious about that. And then Phil has also gotten me really aware about eating on the golf course because I was horrible at snacking on the golf course, mainly because I felt like I just had these adrenaline rushes. And so I would be literally going through the round just solely based off of adrenaline.
Right.
And then after the round, like I'd just flop in a chair and be exhausted. And so just maintaining sugar levels throughout the round has been a big goal this year. I think we said eat a snack every 3 holes.
Come up with a few different strategies, but protein and hydration have been the big ones that we've been working on.
Nice. What's your favorite snack on the golf course?
So usually when I was in university, I loved an Uncrustable.
Okay. Those existed then? I thought that was like a new thing.
Well, so they've always had them in the U.S. They haven't been in Canada very long. And so I always had an Uncrustable, but it was like my one snack for 18 holes.
Okay.
Whereas now, because I'm trying to snack more throughout the round, I got these things called protein balls, and it's like peanut butter, chocolate chips, and coconut oil, I think, like combined into like a little protein ball. And so I'll have that on the golf course. It's like candy on the golf course.
Yeah. Okay.
And for anyone listening or following along, anything is better than nothing as well too, right? Like eating versus not eating. Like eating's important.
If you only have candy in your bag,
I'll take it. Honestly, anything. I mean, is that gonna help the game? No, but it's probably not hurting either. I'd rather people eating kind of and drinking water, hydration. Things are important, and throughout the round is that can help stabilize things and lead to some better play.
Yeah, I do find for myself too when I play, it is not really an issue during the round because you can get through it. Like it's only 4 hours, like you can get through it, or 5.
Oh, and you're so focused on other things.
You're doing something, right? But then it is after, like the next 3 or 4 hours, you're like dead, right? So
well, and I find especially like with a tournament being 4 rounds, or when I was in university 3 rounds, like that kind of builds up then after 3 days of where if you're exhausted after the first round because you haven't been eating, then you go into the second round not feeling great. And then you go into the third round not feeling great because you kind of blown through all your energy early on, and then you're not refueling, I guess, in an appropriate sense. Right. And so I do feel like now it's more consistent energy.
Right. Awesome. Okay.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Cool.
All right. So that was awesome to chat with Savannah. It was really weird. She was just happened to be in the neighborhood the same day we were going to film this, so like
worked perfectly.
For the viewers out there, it was kind of all very impromptu and last minute, but it was a great addition since you work with her, so it was great to have her. So maybe we could just wrap this up by talking a little bit more to our amateur golfers now. If there's anything you would recommend, maybe like 1 or 2 things that they can do either in a warm-up or at home exercises that would really make a difference in their golf games.
I think it's important to remember that all of this stuff's super achievable. Like you don't have to have a massive time commitment to going to the gym or exercise or things like that. Although I'll never tell anyone to exercise less, but the little things that you can kind of do well are, warming up, right? Like, spending, even if, you're not sure what to do, spending 5, 10, 15 minutes, like moving around, getting your body warm, moving your joints around before just jumping on the range and hitting balls and then running to the course. Hydration, nutrition, things like that. Take care of kind of let's call them the freebies in terms of, you know, warming up well, drinking lots of water, you know, eating kind of regularly and healthy if possible, and
Healthy.
yeah,
Keyword there, but yeah.
and so take care of that stuff, because it's all very achievable, and anything is better than nothing, right?
Yeah.
And so just keep kind of moving wherever you're at, just keep kind of moving forward, and most things you'll do kind of on the health side of things, on the fitness side of things, will almost always help the golf game as well too, and especially give your golf coaches a lot more to play with when you go for lessons.
Yes, the fitter you are, the more mobile you are, the more stable you are, the more I can help you, right? So yeah, that's for sure good advice. Okay, well, thank you, Phil, for joining us. Big thanks to Savannah as well. If you are watching on YouTube, Instagram, or TikTok, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you again soon with another episode of the Mississaugua Method. Thanks, everybody.